You know that feeling midweek, like Monday was ages ago, Friday's still kind of far off, and you just need something,
hmm
something to break things up.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into this really interesting idea from our source material, Wine Wednesday Brunch.
Ooh.
It is presented as more than just, food and drinks. It's like a proper intentional reset for your week. So our mission here is to unpack why this could be such a game changer, what wines work best, maybe some easy recipes, and how to get the vibe right, whether you're doing it solo or, with friends.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is how the source frames it. It's not just a meal. It's pitched as like a strategic move for your well-being by
Yeah.
deliberately building in this little pocket of joy midweek.
Right.
Well, you're not just killing monotony, you're actually creating this sort of anticipatory reward, something
hmm
to look forward to before the weekend. And that's quite a different way of thinking about our schedules, isn't it? That anticipatory reward system, yeah, that really clicks. The source talks about how this ritual works because it, quote, breaks up the weekday monotony with flavor and fun. And crucially, it feels indulgent without requiring complex prep. That's huge, right? For busy lives. Plus, it apparently introduces wine in a chill, low-pressure way. Makes it less intimidating, maybe. There's even the story in there about some friends who started doing it, and now they look forward to these brunches more than weekend plans sometimes.
Ah, I can believe that. It hits that sweet spot perfectly. By Wednesday, you are kind of craving a pick-me-up. The weekend still feels a bit distant. It taps right into that need for a boost you've got through Monday, Tuesday. But you need something to carry you through with a bit more energy, maybe.
Exactly. And unlike those weekend brunches that can sometimes, take up the whole day.
Right. The source points out these are naturally time-limited.
Mm-hmm.
That built-in boundary makes them fit into a busy schedule much easier. So it actually functions as that quick reset button, not just another thing to plan. It's concentrated joy, you could say.
Concentrated joy. I like that. That sounds exactly like what a Wednesday needs. Okay, but the wine part is obviously pretty key here for setting that mood. So what does the source suggest? What kinds of wines really fit this refreshing, low-pressure kind of vibe? What's the rule of thumb?
Well, the main principle seems pretty clear. Wine should be light and refreshing.
Mm.
Generally, a lower alcohol content is preferred. And this is important. They need to complement the food, not, steamroll it. It mentions how lighter foods generally work best with lighter wines, basically match the intensity.
Match the intensity. Got it.
So if you think about the bigger picture, these choices really line up with that whole relaxed, easygoing feel. The source gets specific too. It recommends, first off, sparkling rosé, described as fruity pink and always photogenic. It brings a little party feel. Then you've got Brut Prosecco. Brut just means dry, right? So it's crisp and dry with palate-cleansing fizz. Very refreshing. And if you like a little hint of sweetness, there's off-dry Riesling or light Moscato. Off-dry just means not bone-dry, a touch sweet. Great, sweet, savory matchmakers.
Okay, sparkling seems like a big theme there.
Definitely. Sparkling wines are just brunch heroes,
Yeah.
really. They're so versatile. That acidity, for example, it cuts through richness like eggs or cheese, but it also plays nice with fruit, just makes everything pop.
Okay, so we've got the why, we've got the wine, but the source also stresses the food should be easy, right? Effortless. It talks about a go-to wine Wednesday brunch menu, special, but not complicated. What kind of things are we talking about?
Yeah, the recipes are designed for that sweet spot max flavor, minimum fuss, like under 30 minutes kind of stuff.
Oh.
First one is ricotta waffles with fresh berries. Sounds amazing already.
Yeah.
And this pairs with the sparkling rosé. The source says the ricotta makes the waffles super fluffy but still substantial.
Oh, nice.
And the pairing works because the rosé's acidity and fruitiness just complements the berries perfectly while cutting through that waffle richness. It's all about balance. There's even a tip from someone named Jess, make them ahead, pop them in the toaster. Genius for a Wednesday.
Okay, that is smart. What about something savory?
Yep, next up, mini spinach and feta egg muffins. These go with the Brut Prosecco. They're great because they're protein-packed, easy to make ahead, perfect for just one person too. And they're Prosecco. Those crisp bubbles just slice through the richness of the egg and feta. It's a really clean contrast.
Makes sense. That crispness would be good.
And the last one is a bit different. Avocado toast with prosciutto and lemon zest. This one pairs with the off-dry Riesling. It's super simple assembly, right? Good toast, avocado, salty prosciutto, that bright lemon zest, maybe some chili flakes. And the source explains that the slight sweetness in the Riesling just perfectly balances the salty prosciutto and the creamy avocado. It sounds maybe weird, but it works. Apparently it was a big hit at an office potluck mentioned in the source.
Wow, okay. Avocado toast with Riesling. I wouldn't have thought of that. But I can kind of see how that sweet, salty thing would work. It really sounds like the trick is keeping it simple but thoughtful. But, beyond the food and wine, the source hammers home that the atmosphere is just as vital. And here's where it gets really interesting. How do you actually create that special feeling? Especially if it's maybe just you.
Right. It's about making it feel intentional and special. Even solo doesn't have to be elaborate. The source has some really simple sensory tips.
Mm.
Things like having some fresh flowers around, or even just a bowl of sliced oranges or lemons makes things look bright. Lighting a nice candle, maybe opening a window for some fresh air.
Yeah.
And putting on a chill playlist, it mentions bossa nova or acoustic sunshine. Little things that signal to your brain, okay, this isn't just shoveling down lunch, this is a moment.
A designated moment of joy. I like that phrasing. And what if you want to bring friends into this midweek magic? Does it have advice for hosting without it becoming, a whole production?
Oh yeah, the big message for hosting is simplicity is your friend. Loud and clear, don't go overboard. The advice is literally keep it to one wine and two dishes max. Nobody's expecting a feast. An invite should be super casual, like a quick text, maybe a voice note. The example text is something like, quick wine Wednesday brunch at my place tomorrow, 11 a.m., nothing fancy.
Love that. Takes the pressure right off.
Totally. It's all about that come-as-you-are vibe. Source even says yoga pants or bare-faced is fine, because the goal isn't Instagram perfection, right? It's connection and midweek rejuvenation.
Hmm.
There's a great little story about a neighbor, Kate, who did one with basically store-bought croissants, fruit, and Prosecco.
Yeah.
Super simple. And it's proved the point. The company and the concept, that's what matters, not some elaborate setup.
That is so freeing. Permission to just enjoy it without heaps of planning. Okay, but thinking practically, for someone who's intrigued and thinking, okay, I could maybe do this, what about the logistics? Does the source answer some common questions people might have?
Yeah, it does tackle some of those practical hurdles. This raises some important questions like, what's a good time for Wine Wednesday brunch? It suggests late morning, maybe 11 a.m. if you work from home, squeeze it between meetings, or early afternoon, like 1 p.m. if you're in office maybe. But the key thing it stresses is flexibility. No brunch rules here. Make it work for your schedule.
Right. Adapt it.
Then there's, can I do Wine Wednesday brunch alone? And the answer is a big absolutely. It's really framed as midweek self-care. The source even mentions how some of the best moments can be those quiet solo brunches with a good book, turning an hour into a proper break.
That sounds lovely, actually.
And do I need fancy wine glasses? We kind of touched on this.
Yeah.
Nah, not at all. Go for a mason jar, a stemless glass, even a cute mug. It's about the feeling, not the formal wear. Though it does make a good point. Using something other than your usual water glass can kind of signal to your brain, okay, this is a special little treat.
A small signal makes sense. What about sweet food with sparkling wine? Is that okay?
Definitely is the answer there. The source explains how that acidity in the wine actually helps balance the sweetness. He gives the example of like a demi-sec Prosecco, which is a bit sweeter with French toast and fruit. Calls it a match made in heaven. So, yeah, experiment.
Okay, so it sounds really adaptable and low pressure all around. So wrapping this up, it seems Wine Wednesday brunch, based on our source, is really positioned as not just another meal, it's a midweek celebration, a cherished ritual even. It's meant to be that little pocket of joy just when you probably need it most, that deliberate injection of something special. So maybe give it a try, whether it's a quiet moment for yourself or, grabbing a friend or two for a super casual get-together.
Exactly. And the source leaves us with this really potent final thought, I think. It basically says, grab that bottle of Prosecco you've been saving for a special occasion. Why? Because turning an ordinary Wednesday into something extraordinary is occasion enough. This whole idea is about finding those simple pleasures. Proving joy doesn't have to wait for Saturday. It's about making the ordinary feel, well, pretty extraordinary, right in the middle of it all.